idiot is in the lobby awaiting our punishment. What condiments do we have in stock, Mr. Inquisitor?
Well, we got quite a few different things, Council. But more interestingly, we got quite still a lot of bit of that Vegemite. I would kind of recommend that we use it again, even though we already did that last episode. Vegemite is generally a very hated and disgusting thing to most of the world. It's been known that people have eaten Vegemite and just gotten ill, and yet Australia thinks it's the most wonderful thing on earth. I heavily recommend that we just keep using Vegemite on him, and or we can even, I don't know, I got this idea. I'll put right on this piece of paper and slide that idea right on over to you. So how do you like that? Well, I'm in the lobby right now. Uh, you know what? These look. I know people at home are all saying, like, listen, they've done a good thing for the show. No, you're gonna say, well, why do you take this abuse? I mean, you're being humiliated. You gotta understand, guys. They gave me a kid Hank. Well, of course, Frater will use it because he's very adamant. We got all this footage we got to still play on the show, and it goes until May, and then we're free to go. We're free to go. But of course, unfortunately, I'm going to be covered in honey. I'm going to be covered in condiments, and it's I can't believe Frater would just. I don't know. He's his own person. He's Fortunately, last episode, I don't know what he was doing there. He was kind of going off the wall there. I was kind of like Frater. You kind of revealing the magician behind the clo the apron or well, literally the Masonic apron here. Here we go. Oh, here we go. Suddenly, the audio feed goes back to Frater and Billy and all them. Uh, Maybe they're getting sick of these shenanigans. Oh, I don't think that segment was over yet, Frater. You kind of pulled the feed from them. Billy, can I be honest with you? Oh wait, Raider. Hey, I was expecting the scene to start yet. I was still eating some med. Oh no! Oh no! No! He's eating. He's got his hand in a jar of in a jar of mayonnaise. He's licking mayonnaise from his hand. Oh, Pukapi, you haven't actually done something real funny this season. That's actually fun. I know, it's really tasty. It's what I do between scenes. Oh, oh, there you go, folks. You wonder what Pook Yams does when we're not filming. He eats a Hellman's bottle of real mayonnaise and just shoves his hand in there and goes yum 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 yum. It's really good, Raider. You should really try some sometime. Well, I think I'm trying to lose weight here, buddy. Try to load that glucose down and stuff. Maybe you know what? I've had plenty of real mayonnaise. With many years ago, in my life, and sometimes there's a time in your life where you go, I've jumped up and down many times, and I think I'm tired of jumping up and down many times. Oh, I could jump up and down all day. Well, that's you, Pukapi. You're all health. I'm all health. And why are we letting Mr. Peck have his scene? Because they're just gonna put more Vegemite on him. That's a good point. I'm just getting tired of it. I'm just tired of it. It's just I like the idea of the council though. They're pretty funny. I mean, but it's and then the Inquisitor and all that. But that's kind of funny, but they need to find something else to do with him, man. Man, it's just we gotta play still more of this Gothic game. We're on the Gothic DLC, more like Gothic DLN, which is downloadable content. That's actually a really funny term. I never heard that back in the day. Yeah, well, now it's being said now. Okay. Okay, Frater, you ready? Oh, no, not really. I would rather we do something different. Oh, what? Yeah, it's a figure heading towards the cabin. We're gonna do something different. Okay, what is it? I'm gonna open the door. Keep it closed. E- Freight, freighter, freighter, freight. Oh, I'm covered in Vegemite. What's going on? Why are you letting me in? Oh, Pukapi, can you go up to the second floor and just open the window and yell at him or something? Okay. Hey, we're tired of the sea. We've done it last few shows. Listen, you can't imagine. I just want to keep care of me and stuff because you guys keep playing games they don't want you to play. They're too new. Hey, listen, I'll be down in a bit when we're playing the game, and I'll use the virus. Well, that seemed kind of exhausted me. Yeah, Billy, we want to go play the video game. I don't really feel like having one of these like 11-minute intros. It's kind of getting tiring. Well, it's one thing when we have a lot of story. We just don't have a lot of story right now. We're there's little periods of the writing where I wouldn't really call it writing, but it's kind of an in between period where we're trying to you know try to build up to a certain point, and then we can be a little more free. So yeah. I mean, first impressions, it does actually appear that they, as far as the fall of Sade or whatever, that Chowder, by Chowder, yeah, fall of Chowder, a bowl of Chowder, that actually they actually tried to make this more like a Gothic game. It wasn't this janky thing, but it actually well, it does seem to have appearances to be not that bad. It's just you pretty much head towards a volcano type thing. You fight monsters inside and that kind of deal, and you know what I mean. It's that kind of thing, and you know. Yeah, I just want to let you know that Pukapi Adams has got the fire hose outside, and he's getting ready to blast the Vegemite off of Mr. Peck. Well, that's good. I mean, I'm kind of going, guys. I think we might need to actually sit and write some episodes. Yes, it's sort of like the good old days, though, isn't it? Yep, totally improvised. Um, um, I mean, I hate to break fourth wall, but yeah, there are times with the writing. Sometimes there isn't any plans. I mean, sometimes there's just no plans. I mean, there was I'm trying to not like reveal like all my projects, and like I try to keep in character most of the time, and But a lot of times there are tribute projects where I will like watch like Doctor Who or old Nick at Night, like old retro TV shows and get ideas like comedy ideas and also like adventure and sci-fi ideas, and then I just insert my characters into that kind of stuff, and that's usually the way I write that stuff. But with this season, and well, really we're kind of taking, it does seem to be, we're taking a break on the writing because it's just, I think we're gearing up for something very big, but it's like we want to get this stuff out of the way first. So like it's the year of 2026 out of the way, what we're writing and stuff, and we don't want to spend an inordinate amount of time on this. We don't want to. You can't do proper word for what you want to use. I think I'm just trying to talk big here, so I don't know. Uh, you know, so really what it is that, that basically it's about just, a lot of times, like I'll watch something, I get ideas as far as basic storytelling, but then there are times when I just, with these, really the past, since the beginning of this year with this show has been the focus on just like, just focusing on like, oh dear, you trailing off. Are you getting a little bit of a sinus headache or something? Yeah, sometimes that happens. Yeah, well, it's just sometimes what happens is it's just sometimes it is fun to like come up with something on top of your head. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. The new Frater versus Retro was nothing but that. I mean, I would just come up with stuff like that all the time, And I do have. Sometimes I forget about it. Oh dear, I do forget about it. That I do have several pages written out by hand, written in 2024. I know you're gonna go, why do you wrote for 2026 that far back? And it's like, yes, yeah. But then what happens is once you're finished with 2025, and and then you're finally moving on 2026, you have all of a sudden you have some different ideas, and you're kind of going, what? And it's like, yeah. So I think the buildup of this show, as far as what's going to happen is we're building up to getting through the reason why we're doing things the way we're doing. And you're definitely out of fourth wall now. Yeah, you're not even the Frater character. Yeah. Well, it's during the game. A lot of times the game doesn't even have commentary most of the time. I sometimes just go, well, 10 minutes is enough or whatever, and I just quit. And then, I mean, you can hear the game sound and stuff. That the only time I get concerned is if I didn't record the sound loud enough or whatever. Sometimes the sound could be too loud. Trust me. I mean, that's why I had to put it 8% for this game and stuff, because it was one of those games that comes out pretty loud. So really what it is that the aim is to get through this game footage that I got. There was leftover game footage. So this happens on every show that I'm working on. That there's always going to be a game that when I'm cutting the master footage, there's going to be enough to go into the next year. There's always like, like it happened with RoboCop. That was a different project. And I'm not going to talk about what channels or anything like that, because I'm trying to keep some separation. I know I don't usually go into off character. I usually try to keep in the Frater character, but I'm just trying to explain it almost in a way to explain it to myself, like what is my goals and aims for 2026. And so, as we mentioned, the big part of this year has been the revelation of having the Kinhank, the little Chinese console that you don't hook it to the internet. Linus Tech Tips even told you. He told you don't hook up these Android systems from China to the internet, because you don't want them connecting to your network, because if something happens where suddenly we're kind of at war with China or something, they just can turn all our computers into zombies working for them. They could take over everything. But understand it's a little pirate station, so you need to understand that you're there to play the video games. You're not there to watch YouTube. Why are you watching YouTube on that thing? You could do that on your PC or whatever. Do watch on your PC, because you can block Origin, you can block ads and download videos and whatever. Just don't deal with that. So with the Kinhank, it would allow us to go much deeper as far as Frater versus Retro. That is the big issue, is that we kind of not been really playing retro games. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, and it's I kind of admit that it's kind of my way of scolding myself for not devoting enough time to retro games. I'm sorry to say, this game right here, even though you could say, well, it came out, 2011 or 2012 or something like that. I think 2012, probably 2013 or something. And you could say, well, it's almost 10 years. It's over 10 years old. It is. I kind of admit I probably have now a very, very outdated concept of what's retro. But mostly it's because I haven't really checked up on retro circles to really see what do people consider to be retro. I consider the Xbox 360 now retro. But what it is we do this Antique Game Emporium, and and it's the idea that there's these old guys out there. It must be in their 60s now. I'm sure they're in their 60s now. I mean, I'm 45. I mean, I didn't. You don't understand, guys. I was way too young to grow up with an Atari. Okay. Now, some people had hand-me-downs, so that's the reason why they had Ataris. I knew 2 people had Ataris. My one best friend had an Atari, and then another person had an Atari, and so they were out there, Ataris. And I could have had an Atari when I was at least a teenager, because I went to a giant yard sale. There's a local festival they have that also is a partly 50% of it. The real big feature of it is actually a yard sale, and people can come there and sell their stuff, and I've gotten old WWF figures, I've gotten really weird random toys, and I think I even got an 18 figure. A Murdoch figure. Yeah, that's right. It's weird memories coming through. But of course, at the time when I got it, I didn't even really know it was an A-Team figure. So, I'm kind of trailing off. It happens all the time when I talk too much. And So the whole point is, with the Kid Hank, you can play anything. You could play Wii games. I haven't tested the Wii games, how it works with the game controller. The game controller is almost like a PlayStation 4. So it's kind of like they've hit something that I understand, because I generally do feel that if it wasn't for the PS4 controller breaking so much, because trust me, I went through about 3-4 of those. And I'm not talking about being rough on it. I'm actually fairly gentle on controllers, but these things are just built very weak, and but they have a good, when they do work, they handle really well on your hand. They feel very good. The PlayStation 5 controller is even bigger, and I remember initially when that came out, some people complained about it, and then it's like, now people are sort of like cool with it. But I don't know, PlayStation 5 I just didn't get really into. Mainly it's because, like, the only game that at the time that was an exclusive for was like Returnal. And that's an excellent game if you wanted almost like a sort of a next gen Metroid. I mean, it's generally really good. It's a roguelike, and I liked it. But do understand that but with the Kid Hank, again, that the whole content of the show for this season is that we now have, as long as it doesn't break, that's when plans go out the window. And let's just say the Antique Game Emporium goes out the window, but then of course there's a greater scheme to the Antique Game Emporium. But the whole point is that we can really diversify into the whole retro game thing. We can really kind of, like, I know, like, a lot of people could say, well, you can play an Atari collection. You have like it was an Atari anthology or something.
You can safely teleport me to Satarif.
Probably.
There's like
Probably.
yeah, I got a Steam collection of it.
Not a human teleportation
but
circle.
Those are
greatly in its range.
first party licensed.
How
comforting.
If you are afraid,
those are like
why don't you go stretch
first party licensed
Just let me know when you're ready.
Atari games. And there's actually Atari games that me and my friends grew up playing. The sort of those secondhand games I mentioned. And they're not available because they're owned by somebody else. Like, say, like Keystone Capers. That's the television. No, Activision. I'm sorry, Activision, I think. Yeah, it's Activision. Actually on PlayStation, and here's the thing that's wild about the Kid Hank. It has arcade compilations from the PlayStation 2. All the ones I used to play. So technically, according to the Antique Game Emporium, I could play those because the games on there are old enough. And technically we don't need to do that. We have the direct ROM. There's only flaws with this is that only real flaws with this Kid Hank is that I have caught mistakes in it. And I'm not saying when you try to play a game it doesn't work. No. The problem is like, for example, like, this is a pretty glaring flaw, and this might be a deal breaker to some people. There's no Sonic the Hedgehog in this. No, there's Sonic 2, Spinball, all those like sequels. The original game they've screwed up. And what it is they put the listing in, but they forgot to put the ROM in. And they accidentally, like, put, like, say, like, whatever game that came before that game, they put, like, a double ROM of the same game in. So when you click Sonic the Hedgehog, like you'll see the game right in the front. You'll see like the box and stuff. It's not there. It's because it's got a double of a ROM from another game that came before it, and that's really discouraging. And the only way to really go in and fix it is you gotta. I'm not even kidding you. I like a part of me likes to think that there's no way it's this complicated. You got to take the SATA cable. You got to open your PC up. I don't want to do that. And you got to open up. You got to take it to the motherboard, and you got to connect it to the motherboard directly. And I'm like thinking to myself, I am not taking this little pirate station and connecting it to my main computer in any sort of form. I mean, what is the freaking point of that? I mean, yeah, it would be this does apparently have a slot for Nintendo Switch games, which I telling you guys, the way Nintendo's been lately, the last 20 years, they're a litigious bunch. I would not want to be playing a Nintendo Switch game on a Kid Hank. There is one Nintendo Switch game. I don't know why they add it. Maybe just to show that an example that you can put Nintendo Switch games on there. I mean, but understand, I do have a way now I can play Nintendo Switch. You know, if I wanted to do Nintendo Switch, I don't want to. I've become even more kind of down on Nintendo. I feel like you don't know who they go after as far as YouTube. Sometimes they just go after somebody. They just wipe out their channel. So there have been times I've been more liberal about doing Nintendo, but you can doing third party Nintendo is do third party games that were on Nintendo. That's okay. They don't seem to care about that. You know, like if you're playing like the NES version of Side Pocket. Don't ask me why. I like Side Pocket a lot. You know, so. Well, I don't know. That might be enough commentary for now. I'll think about it here in a moment.
about Sateringrad Production. Welcome to Sateringrad Productions. We specialize in spiritual books, comic books and old public domain books that have long been forgotten. We also have done artwork for war history books and fiction-based works. We recommend our PECK Holy Bible Volume 1 that is quite popular and attempts to bring the Book of Enoch back into the Bible's list of books. The PECK Holy Bible Volume 1 also has a few selections from Josephus, a Jewish historian, and also the book has Jubilee and the Apocrypha, which is also available in Catholic Bibles. Frater SH is an esoteric researcher who is out to reveal ancient knowledge, both known and forbidden. Frater SH has appeared on Joshua P. Warren Speaking of Strange, Kevin Smith's Show, UFO Show, and Ghost Chronicles International with Ron Clark and Richard Felix, the historian from Most Haunted on the Travel Channel.